Okay, so start with the feet hip width apart. The knees are soft, and we're just gonna start gently opening up all the joints from the head all the way down. So we're gonna start looking down towards the floor, looking up towards the ceiling, looking straight ahead. Look towards your right and your left. Straight ahead, try to touch the ear towards the shoulder, and the other side. Come back to the center. Now bring the shoulders towards the ears and roll them back. Bring the shoulders towards the ears and roll them back. Keep them rolled back, and now we're gonna do it again with the head. So looking down towards the floor, looking up towards the ceiling, looking straight ahead, look towards your right and your left. Straight ahead again, ear towards the shoulder without raising the shoulder, and the other side. And coming back to the center, we're gonna start bringing the arm forward and back, arm forward and back, arm forward and back, and then the opposite direction from the back forward. And the other side, bringing the arm forward and back, forward and back. And the other side. So from the back, you're bringing it forward, stack gentle circles, and then go further and further into the stretch. And now we're gonna bring the chin towards the chest, looking towards the right shoulder, roll the shoulder back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, dropping the chin, you're starting to make a semicircle, bringing the chin all the way back to the left shoulder, and then roll the shoulder back, drop the chin, and very gently bring the head back towards the right shoulder. Now, as you're doing that, you probably notice some areas that are quite tender. So start again, much slower, and when you're getting to the point where it's really painful, you just drop the shoulder back and just stay there for a breath or two, and then you carry on until you reach another spot where you've got the pain. Drop the shoulders. And then the other side. Coming back to the right shoulder and looking straight ahead. Give yourself a couple of rolls with the shoulders, and then lift your right arm up, supported by the upper arm with the other hand, so just above the wrist, the elbow, and you're bringing the arm to across the body, dropping the shoulder back. And then drop the arm, and you're trying to bring the arm behind the back as far up as you can, squeezing the shoulder blade back towards the spine. And then drop the arm, you're lifting the left arm, supported with the right hand on the upper arm, bring it across the body, drop the shoulder back. And then drop the arm and bring it behind your back. Squeeze the shoulder blade towards the spine, so you're opening the front of the shoulder. And release the arm. And now have your hands on your hips, start circling the hips. Start with small circles and go bigger and bigger, keeping your knees soft, okay? So you're not locking your knees when you're doing that. And then just when you're getting to the end of your range of movement, stay there for maybe 3 circles. And then you're starting the opposite direction, small circles to start with, and then widening the circle, bigger and bigger. And then make 3 circles once you've reached the end. And then stop there. Then forward, bring your hands in front on the inside of the knees, start warming up the knees on the inside, front of the knees, sides of the knees, and the back of the knees. And then come back up, hands on the hips, stretch the right toes. And then start circling the ankle. So the movement has to come from the ankle, and you're circling it clockwise to start with, and then counterclockwise. And the other side, stretch the toes, and then start circling the ankle. So make sure the movement comes from the ankle, okay? And the other direction. Okay, now come to the top of the mat, big toes are touching. Distribute the weight into the middle of the mat. So the middle of the feet have to feel the blunt of the pressure, okay? So you're not leaning too much on the front, neither on the heels. And then pull the kneecaps up, squeeze the glutes a little bit, and then tilt your pelvis under, okay? So tilt your pelvis under so you're feeling the stretch and a pulling onto the lower abdominals. Suck the belly in towards the spine, open the chest, tuck the chin under, arms by your sides. So now you can relax the glutes, but tilt that pelvis under so you're really feeling that tension into the lower abdominals, okay? And now look straight ahead, just beyond your nose. Place your left hand on the lower belly, right hand onto the chest, and start engaging with the breath. So you're really still engaging with the core muscles as you're standing up. But now what you want to do as well, you want to engage the breath. So you're inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5, through the nose only. As you're breathing in, you're trying to puff up the left hand, which is on the lower belly. And as you're breathing out, you're trying to bring the belly button towards the spine. So we're trying to encourage deep breathing all the way down into the belly, okay? On the inhale into the count of 5, you're puffing up the hand, puffing up the belly. On the exhale, you're bringing the hand back towards the spine. And as you're doing that, I'm going to read you the disclaimer. So when you're participating in any exercise or exercise program, there is the possibility of physical injury. If you voluntarily engage in this class, you agree that you do so at your own risk and assume all risk of injury to yourself. Okay, now place your hands in front of your chest into a prayer position, and we're going to do 3 sun salutations. We start with the basic level, and then you can go to your own level if you please to. I'm going to go 1 level up each time. Inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, look up at the hands, suck the belly in. Exhale, you're folding forward at the hips, placing your hands on the shin, the ankle or the mat. On the next inhale, press through the hands, look forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, place your hands on the mat, step your right leg out into a lunge, left leg to meet it into a high plank. Set the plank. Now you're bringing your shoulders above the wrist and you're pushing your heels away from you. Pull the kneecaps up, squeeze the glutes, suck the belly in, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, knees to the floor. Leading with the chest, you're bringing your chest down to the floor, rubbing the elbows by your rib cage. Top of the feet on the mat, hands underneath the shoulders. On the next inhale, peel the chest off the floor, roll the shoulders away from you, look forward. Exhale, tuck your toes under, coming to your hands and knees. Bring the seat towards your heels and you're coming up into a downward dog. Stepping your feet slightly forward so that you can bring your heels down towards the floor. On the inhale, you're bending the right knee, transferring the weight onto the left leg. On the exhale, you're bending the left knee, transferring the weight onto the right leg. Inhale, bending the right knee, transferring the weight onto the left. Exhale, bend the left knee, transferring the weight onto the right. Nice and long breaths, nice and long movement, starting to opening up the back of the legs. And then on the next inhale, you're looking towards your hands, bend the knees, start walking your feet towards your hands. Once you've reached your hands, keep your feet together and exhale, you're folding forward, letting go of the head. On the next inhale, you're coming up a little bit, engaging the core. Bring your hands up towards the ceiling and exhale, hands by your sides. Second one, inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, press through the hands, look forward. Exhale, hands on the mat, add a step or jump into a high plank. On the inhale, you're setting the plank. On the exhale, add the knees to the floor like the previous one, or you're hovering down, halfway down. Bending your elbows, looking forward, chest forward. On the next inhale, bring the body through the hands, straighten the arms, up dog, roll the shoulders away from you, look forward. Exhale, tuck your toes under, downward dog. Stepping your feet as slightly forward, bringing the heels down, feet hip width apart. And now also work on the torso, hands as wide as the shoulders, wrists in line with the top of the mat. Roll the shoulders away from you, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're really working on this part today as we're working on the neck today, okay? Now you're pointing the top of the head down towards the floor. So you're using the weight of the head to sort of lengthen the neck. And as you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, you're gonna feel that pulling and also releasing of the spine in the upper back. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And now on the next inhale, looking forward, bend the knees, either walk or step to the top of the mat. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, engage the core, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands by your sides. Last one, inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, press through the hands, look forward. Exhale, hands on the mat, add a step or jump into a high plank. Inhale, set the plank. Exhale, add a low plank or knees to the floor. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, down dog. All right, now work on every element of this pose, making sure you're really feeling the release on your neck and the upper back. Pointing the head down towards the floor, squeezing the shoulder blades together, pushing the hands away from you. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. Tilt your pelvis under slightly so you're not overarching your lower back. Last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, you're looking towards your hands, add a step or jump to the top of the mat. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, engage the core, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands by your sides. Okay, so you need a block and you need a pillow for the class. So you can grab that, hold of that now. And then come to the top of the mat, hands on your hips. And on the next inhale, you're stepping with the right foot 2/3 of the mat, turning the toes towards the top right corner of the mat. On the next inhale, make sure that the legs are straight by pulling the kneecaps up, bringing your arms parallel to the floor, and exhale, you're leaning towards the front leg, placing your hands on the shin or on the inside of the ankle, right hand up towards the ceiling. And now, for the purpose of this class, which we're focusing on the neck, you want to, on the inhale, you want to lengthen the left side of the rib cage. And on the exhale, you're turning the torso towards the right. Your head is either looking straight ahead or towards your right hand, okay? Slightly tucking the chin towards the chest so that you're lengthening slightly the left side of the neck. But you shouldn't be feeling any tension in there when you're doing this posture, okay? So if you're feeling tension, you're looking straight ahead. And really trying to open up the chest in the front by turning the torso towards your right, but also lengthening the left side of the rib cage. 2 more breaths here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. You're pointing your right hand up towards the ceiling, squeezing that right shoulder back. And then on the next inhale, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, you're bringing your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips, and exhale, you're stepping to the front of the mat. We're gonna do it on the other side. Feet together, hands on the hips. On the next inhale, step the left foot back 2/3 of the mat. Turning the toes towards the top left corner of the mat. On the next inhale, pull the kneecaps up, making sure the legs are nice and long. Arms parallel to the floor, and on the exhale, you're leaning forward, placing your hands on the shin or on the inside of the ankle. Left hand up towards the ceiling, palms facing away from you. Make sure you're still pulling the kneecaps up on the inhale, lengthening the right side of the rib cage, and now pressing on the right hand, you're turning the torso towards your left. And you want to create a T with your arms, okay? So opening that chest and either looking straight ahead or towards your left hand. Whatever feels comfortable on your neck. If you're tucking the chin to the chest slightly, you then just start to lengthen a little bit the right side of the neck. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, you're bringing your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips, and exhale, you step into the front of the mat. Grab hold of the block and place it in between your legs. Place your hands on the hips and you're stepping with the right foot, 2/3 of the mat. Turning the toes again towards the top right corner of the mat. And then on the next inhale, you're bending the front leg and you're placing your left hand on the inside of the left foot, either on the block or if you can, just reach the floor and place it on the floor. Now, wherever you are, you want to basically hug the left knee onto the arm. And as you're doing that, you're also resisting with the left arm so that you're turning the torso towards your left. The left knee pushes in, but you're pushing back with your left arm. So that opens that left part of the shoulder. And then you're bringing your right hand up towards the ceiling, looking towards your right hand. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. So really push with your left knee, opening up the left part of the chest. And then you're pulling the right shoulder back. So you're really opening up the upper part of the back. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, you're bringing your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips, and exhale, you're stepping. Make sure that you're safe with the block, and then you're stepping to the front of the mat. We're going to do it on the other side. Hands on the hips, feet together. On the next inhale, step 2/3 of the mat, if not a little bit more. Turning the toes towards the top left corner of the mat. On the next inhale, bend the front leg. And on the exhale, you're placing your right hand on the inside of the foot or on the block on the inside of the foot. And then create that tension between the right knee and the right arm, which helps you to turn the torso towards your left, bringing your left arm up towards the ceiling, squeezing that left shoulder back. So you're really feeling again that you're creating a T with your arms, looking either straight ahead or towards your left hand. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. Hug the right knee towards the shoulder or towards the elbow, wherever you are on the pose. And still create that tension between the right knee and the right arm. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, bring your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips, and exhale, you're stepping to the front of the mat. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. Okay, so we're starting with the feet hip width apart. And then on the next inhale, bring your hands parallel to the floor. And exhale, interlace the fingers behind your back. On the next inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And on the exhale, you're folding forward, bending the knees, resting the torso on the thighs, and bringing your arms over your head, letting go of the head. So at this moment, it's better if you rest the torso on the thighs and really work on letting go of the head and bringing your arms towards the ceiling by squeezing the shoulder blades together. So make sure you're still squeezing the shoulder blades, pointing the top of the head down towards the floor. So by squeezing the shoulder blades together, you're protecting the front of the shoulders, but at the same time, you're sort of loosening up the front of your chest. In and into the count of 5. Nod your head a couple of times, making sure you're letting go of the head. And exhale into the count of 5. On the next inhale, come all the way up. Place your hands on the hips and come to the top of the mat. Start with the feet hip width apart. And then hands on the hips. You're stepping back with the right foot, but you want to keep the same stance of hip width apart. So the right foot should be further out than the left. As you're stepping back, make sure that you still can have your right foot further out so you can square the hips towards the front. The right leg is straight, the heel is on the floor, and then on the next inhale, you're bending the front leg, making sure you still see the big toes. Sucking the belly in, sitting in between the legs, and then on the exhale, you bring your hands up towards the ceiling into warrior 1. Roll the shoulder back, squeeze that shoulder blades together. So you're trying to depress the shoulders so the shoulders don't come up towards the ears. They're rolling back and away from the ear, and you're feeling that pulling in between the shoulder blades. So that also gives a stretch to the front of the shoulders if you're doing it right. Now, look straight ahead and then start looking up towards the ceiling. See if that's comfortable with the neck. If it's not, just come back into looking forward, okay? Already the fact that you're pulling the shoulders back is already working on the neck. And then on the next inhale, you're looking forward. Now, interlace the fingers behind your back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. By squeezing the shoulder blades together, you're opening the chest. On the exhale, you're folding forward and you're bringing your left shoulder on the inside of the left knee, letting go of the head, bringing your arms over your head. In and into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, come all the way up. Straighten the front leg, hands on the hips, and you're stepping to the front of the mat. Everybody okay? Everybody can hear me? Oh dear. Okay, start with the feet hip width apart. Maintain the hip stance when you're stepping with the left foot back. Turn the toes towards the top left corner of the mat. Straighten the left leg, heel down onto the floor. On the next inhale, bend the front leg. Still wanting to see the big toes, so you don't want to have your right knee coming in. You're guiding it out. Square the hips towards the front, and then suck the belly in, sit in between the legs, and on the next inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulder back. So you're rolling them back and squeezing them down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. So really depressing the shoulders down, and rolling them back, looking straight ahead, and then gently see if you can start looking up towards the ceiling and see if your neck feels comfortable to do that. And still work on squeezing the shoulders together, rolling them back. In and into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, look straight ahead. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together on the inhale. On the exhale, you're folding forward, trying to bring the right shoulder on the inside of the right knee, letting go of the head, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You're basically pointing the hands up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, come all the way up. Straighten the front leg, hands on the hips, and you're stepping to the front of the mat. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. Okay, we're going to do the balancing pose, and then the second part of the class, we're going to do three or four poses, but we're going to stay longer and we're just going to work on the neck area, okay? So balance all your weight onto the left leg, tiptoes of the right. Again, we're going to do the eagle pose because it's the only one that really sort of loosens up the upper part of the body, okay? So in the inhale, bring your hands parallel to the floor. So you're balancing yourself onto the left leg, you're on the tiptoes of the right. First we're working on the arms and then we're going to work on the legs, okay? Now you're crossing the right arm over the left, above the elbow, okay? So you're crossing them on the upper part of the arms. Then see if you can interlace them so that you can bring your palms together. If you cannot do that, you're placing your right elbow on top of the left and you're grabbing hold of the opposite shoulder, okay? If you're in this position, you're lifting the elbows up so that they're at the same level of the shoulders. If you're in this position, you're lifting the elbows up, dropping the shoulders, okay? And then if you want to add to it, you can add the legs. But as we're working on the upper back, it's not necessary. But if you want to do the balancing pose, you're lifting the right leg off the floor, starting to bend the left leg, and you're placing the right knee over the left, and you can hook the foot behind the calf, bringing the elbows up. If you want to go further, you can also fold forward. Make sure you're still bringing those elbows up, dropping the shoulders. One more breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then first release the legs. And then release the hands and release the arms. Giving yourself a little bit of a shake everywhere. And now we're going to do the other side. So you're balancing yourself onto the right leg, tiptoes of the left. On the next inhale, bring your arms parallel to the floor. This time you're crossing the left arm over the right. Either the elbows, one on top of the other. So the left elbow is on top, grabbing hold of the shoulder, lifting the elbows up. Or interlacing the hands so that you can bring the palms together, lifting the elbows up. If you want to go further, then you start lifting the left leg off the floor, bending the right leg, putting left knee on top of the right. And then if you want, you can fold forward. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, start coming back up. Release the legs first, and then the arms, giving yourself a little bit of a shake. Okay, so now we're coming down onto the floor. First, you're going to do a little bit of a dynamic movement. So you're first sitting on the block, cross-legged, okay? So you just want to be kind of comfortable in your position because what we're focusing on is the upper part, okay? So you can use a couple of pillows to sit on. You can also put pillows either side of the knees so you're supporting the knees. Okay, so start with touching the hands onto your shoulders, bringing the elbows up. And then on the next inhale, you're dropping the head, you're kissing the elbows together. As you're doing the exhale, you're starting to make a big arch, looking up towards the ceiling, bringing the elbows out as much as you can, and then coming back into an inhale where you're touching the elbows together, letting go of the head. So you're dropping the head forward, kissing the elbows together, and then on the next exhale, you're just bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling, elbows up as much as you can, and then you separate the elbows and you open the arms out to the sides. So start doing it fluidly. So as you're exhaling, you're bringing the elbows back, inhaling here, and then exhaling, you're opening the arms, bringing them back into the center. Inhaling here, dropping the head, inhaling here, and then as you're separating the elbows, you're exhaling out, starting to bring the head down. Inhaling here, nice and long movements, and now exhaling. One more. Inhaling here, bringing the elbows up towards the ceiling. As you're separating the elbows, you're exhaling, starting to look down. Okay? So we're starting to loosening up the neck. Now bring your right tips of your finger down onto the floor. And then you're bringing the left here towards the left shoulder. So you're keeping that stretch onto the right side of the neck. You're keeping your left hand onto the knee at the moment. And now on the next inhale, so you're sort of touching the ear towards the shoulder, trying to keep looking forward. So you're not turning the head because you want to stretch the side of the neck. So you're basically looking forward, dropping the ear down towards the left shoulder. And now lift the right arm up and then point the fingers up towards the ceiling, feeling that deep stretch into the neck and into the shoulder. Now lift your left hand up. You're placing it from behind onto the side of the head, gently pulling back. Gently, okay? You're only doing maybe 10% of pressure, 20% of pressure. So you're really just wanting to just gently stretch that side of the neck. And then release the head. Release the right hand down towards the floor. We're going to do it on the other side. I'm finding this very hard because at the moment my neck is like really tight, okay? So you're placing the left fingertips down onto the floor. Your right hand is on the knee, the right knee. And now try not to tense up as you're bringing the right ear towards the right shoulder. And you're still trying to maintain the facing forward. So you're not looking down towards your shoulder, you're looking ahead, stretching the left side of the neck. Dropping the left shoulder, dropping the right shoulder. Couple of breaths here as you're starting to stretch the left side of the neck. Make sure you're not creating any tension. So you're dropping the left shoulder, dropping the right shoulder, allowing the neck to just gently stretch. On the next inhale, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling, pointing the fingers up towards the ceiling. You're not bending the elbow, you're almost imagining that that left palm is resting on the wall. So you're feeling the stretch on the bottom part of your forearm, okay? Drop the neck down, so the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Now, if you want, you can place your right hand on the side of the head, gently pulling down. Now, inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. The breath here is very important. Last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, come all the way up Both hands on the shoulder, on the knees, and then just bring the shoulders up towards the ears and drop them back. Shoulders up towards the ears and drop them back. Okay? Now interlace the fingers behind your neck and then bring the elbows together. Okay? Now without forcing it too much, you're just dropping the head down. So you're just using the weight of the gravity, okay? You're not applying any more pressure. Inhale into the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. Now take a deep breath in on the inhale, and on the exhale, you're opening the elbows out to the side, looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, drop the head, bring the elbows together. And on the exhale, open the elbows out to the side, looking up towards the ceiling. We're gonna do 3 more. Inhale, bring the elbows together, drop the head. Exhale, opening up the elbows as far as you can, looking up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, bringing the elbows together, dropping the head. And exhale, opening up, looking up towards the ceiling. Last one. Inhaling, bring the elbows together, looking down towards the floor. And exhaling, opening up, looking up towards the ceiling. Drop the arms. Give yourself a little bit of a shake wherever you need it. Okay, and we're coming now into a kneeling position, okay? So you're having the block, something like that. So you might need a pillow in the front for your forehead, and you need something sort of a handbreadth high for resting your elbows into, okay? So adjust yourself so that you're basically able to bring the forehead down onto the pillow and your forearms so that then basically the elbows end up onto the block, okay? So you need to probably bring your knees together a little bit more. And then you want to have your elbows onto the block, even by the forearms, so that basically the elbows are just sticking out a little bit. You might need a book, you might need a stack of books to do that. And then straighten the arms, drop the palms down, the fingers down towards the floor, and then resting, so you're on child pose here. You're basically sitting on your heels, and your torso is on the thighs, the knees are together, and then drop the head down onto the pillow. First, the fingers are pointing down towards the floor. You're feeling the stretch onto the neck and onto the shoulders, and then bend the elbows, bring the hands together, and the hands come behind your back. We're staying here for 3 minutes, okay? So lengthen the breath. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And now to basically give yourself a little bit more of a stretch as you're starting to loosen up the whole area of the shoulders and the neck. Start compressing the shoulder blades together. So start bringing the shoulder blades together, lowering, basically taking the shoulders away from the ears, squeezing the shoulder blades together, feeling that stretch onto the front of the shoulders. You're doing this gradually. So you're increasing the stretch by 5–10% each time. Five breaths here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. 3 more breaths here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then very gently start straightening up the arms. Come up with the head. You can let go of the block and the pillow for a second. And now what we want to do, first we're going to do the rabbit pose, but we're just doing it as a transition, okay? So we're not staying 3 minutes in it. So what you want to do, you want to bring your arms over the head, over the body. So you can grab hold of the toe of the fingers if you can. And then you're placing the top of the head as close as you can in front of the knees. And then start bringing the bum up towards the ceiling. So you're rolling onto your back, opening up the upper part of the back. So you need to roll onto the back of the head as you're rolling forward. So your chin is to the chest. One more breath here, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. And exhale, sitting back down onto the floor, coming all the way up. What we're going to do now, we're going to do thread the needle, and we're going to do it 3 minutes on each side, okay? So you're coming up into your knees, hands and knees. Bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders and your knees directly underneath the hips, okay? On the next inhale, you're lifting the left arm off the floor and you're feeding it underneath the right armpit, placing your the left shoulder and the left side of the head down onto the floor. You've got different options here. The first option is that you can bring your right arm up towards the ceiling, and if you want, you can turn the palm the other direction and then wrap that arm behind your back. Or otherwise you can just bring the arm behind you, opening the right shoulder, and then you can also bring your left hand on the front of the left thigh. If you want to get a deeper stretch, you can tuck your right toes under, stretch the right leg, so you're feeling more of a stretch onto the right shoulder, but also onto the neck area. Wherever you are, just get yourself comfortable and start opening up the areas of the neck and the upper back. Inhale into the count of 5, exhale into the count of 5. And as you're doing this, you're actively starting to squeeze that right shoulder blade towards the spine. Either if it is pointing up towards the ceiling, you're rolling the shoulder back, or you're basically bringing that right shoulder pointing up towards the ceiling. Again, you want to have a 60-70% stretch, and from there you're just breathing into the area, allowing them to open up. We're going to do 3 more breaths here. Inhale into the count of 5, exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, start bringing your right arm back down onto the mat, coming back into the 4s. Before we go on to the other side, on the inhale, you're looking forward, curve the back towards the floor, push the bum out, so cat and cow. On the exhale, curve the back towards the ceiling, pushing the bum towards your hands, looking down towards your knees. Inhale, look forward, curve the back towards the floor, push the bum out. And exhale, curve the back towards the ceiling, pushing the bum towards your hands, looking down towards your knees. One more. Inhaling, looking forward. And exhaling, looking down towards the knees. And then on the next inhale, come back into a neutral position. And now your feet in the right arm, underneath the left armpit, bending the left elbow to the side, placing your right shoulder, right side of the head down onto the floor. And then choose your position so you can bring your left arm up towards the ceiling, or you can turn the palms the other direction, wrapping the arm behind your back, grabbing hold of the front of the right thigh. And now, first of all, start breathing into the area where you are. And then gently increase the stretch of the fascia by pushing, bringing the shoulder blade towards the spine, rolling the left shoulder back. Nice and long breaths. Breathing into any area that feels tender or stiff. And instead of resisting the stretch, don't go 70% maximum of the stretch. So that basically you align that sort of buffer where you can basically go a little bit deeper if you want to, but you're not going to get into a position where the joint starts to spasm and the muscles start to shake, okay? Nice and long breaths. We're gonna do 6 more breaths here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. Last 2 breaths here. And then very gently start bringing your left arm back down onto the floor and coming back into your fours. And now just coming to child pose, sitting on your heels, forehead onto the floor, arms forward. Just stay here for a breath or 2. And now bring your arms along the body. And then very gently start bringing yourself back up into a seated position. Sitting yourself either side of the bum of the feet so that you can bring your legs forward. Okay, last exercise, and then we're going to do a little bit of relaxation. So you're bringing your right knee towards the chest, crossing your right knee over the left leg, and then you're bringing your left hand behind, right hand behind you, left hand up towards the ceiling. Okay. On the next inhale, suck the belly in. Try to create some space between the torso and the thigh. And on the exhale, turn the torso towards your right. Either hug the knees towards your chest, or bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Turning towards your sides. Now don't lean onto your right arm. Use the arms to just turn towards the sides. So make sure that you're still keeping your left leg active by pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. On the inhale, you're lengthening the spine. On the exhale, you're turning the torso towards your right. Chin parallel to the floor, and you're looking towards your right shoulder. Now, if you want to stretch the sides of the neck, that's the trapezius, you're basically dropping the chin to the chest, and you will feel that stretch between the left shoulder and the sort of back of the neck, really. count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. So as you're dropping the chin to the chest, you're feeling the stretch basically from the scapula all the way up to the top of the head. But also because you're doing this twist, you're also feeling the twist onto the spine into the middle, okay? So this is a great stretch for your trapezius. In and into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. Whenever it gets too much, just bring the chin parallel to the floor. And then just use very gentle movements to get to the point where you're doing the stretch, but you're not overstretching, okay? Suck the belly towards the spine, making sure you're still keeping nice and long on the spine. You're just slightly bending the chin, so you're basically bending the neck slightly. Last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. On the next inhale, start looking towards the front. Nice and gentle is the deep stretch. Turn slightly towards the front until you're basically facing the front. Hugging the right knee towards the chest and releasing it. Next side. Hug the left knee towards the chest. Make sure that the right leg is straight by pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. Place the left foot over the right leg. Left hand behind you, right hand up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, suck the belly in, create some space so that you can sort of turn the torso towards your left. And then either hug the knee towards the chest or right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Now bring yourself into the position, again, making sure you're not at the end of your range of movement. You still got some place to go. Turning the chin so that basically the chin is parallel to the floor and you're looking towards your left shoulder. Spend the first minute familiarizing yourself with the twist into the spine in the upper back. In and into the count of 5, sucking the belly in, lengthening the spine, and exhaling, turning the torso towards your left. So you're feeling that stretch into the upper back. Then if you want to go further now, start tucking the chin to the chest until you feel that stretch into that trapezius. So it's the back of the neck all the way into the scapula. Nice and long breaths. Don't bounce into this movement. Just 60-70% of stretch. And that way you get the best benefit by creating a nice and long, deep stretch into the fascia, where you're having long-lasting benefits from it. Because at that point you've changed the structure of the connective tissue. And from a helix position it's sort of starting to go into straight fibers. So it allows this deep stretch that continues way beyond what the class is being doing. Last 2 breaths here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And now very gently start coming out of the pose. First of all, you're starting to look straight in the front and then release the arm, turn to the front, hug the left knee towards the chest and release it. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. You can do a little bit of movement here. It's been a long, deep stretch, so you should feel it all the way down into the back. And then now we're gonna just come into the last pose, which is the Shavasana pose, okay? So we're gonna lie down onto the floor, feet as wide as the mat, flopping the feet to the side, resting down onto the floor. If you want, you can also put a pillow on your upper back, so you can put the pillow here and sort of lying onto the pillow, so it just gently opens the chest, but make sure that the pillow also supports the head, okay? Up to you, it's optional really. Now tilt your pelvis under, so as much as your lower back is on the floor, and then roll the shoulders back, opening the arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing up, tucking the chin to the chest. You can use pillows underneath your knees, or the pillow, extra pillow on the head. And now just gently start to relax the body, and just we start from the head, relaxing the head down onto the mat. And now tuck the chin to the chest, start relaxing the forehead, relaxing your eye sockets, relaxing your temples. And relaxing your nose, your cheeks, your upper lip, your mouth, your chin, the front of the neck and the back of the neck. Relax your, so go down onto the base of the neck, across into your shoulders, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists and your hands. And now coming back into the top of your shoulders, relax the space in between the shoulder blades. Relax your shoulder blades. Relax the middle of your back, relax your lower back, all the way down into your sacrum, your coccyx, the sitting bones, over into your reproductive organs, into the pelvic floor, relaxing your lower abdomen, relaxing your upper abdomen, the rib cage, all the way up to the chest and your breasts, going into the armpits, relaxing the armpits, all the way down to the sides, into your hips. And now relaxing the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, relaxing your knees, relaxing your calves, your shins, the ankles, and the feet. And now I want you to bring your attention to your neck and upper back. And just scan the body without changing anything. Just scan the body and just make a mental note of what areas of the neck and the shoulders were particularly stiff or uncomfortable as you were doing the different poses today. And just send your breath to that area. Try to consciously relax it. And sending healing and warmth and love. And thanking it for keeping up with all the bad behaviors that we have. Bad habits, bad posture. Soldiering on despite our bad habits. And now very gently start bringing your attention back to the rest of the body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh out through your mouth. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you sigh out through the mouth, start wiggling your toes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you sigh out through your mouth, start wiggling your fingers. And then when you're ready, hug the knees to the chest, one at a time. Stay here for a breath or two. And then either roll yourself onto the right side, pushing yourself up into a cross-legged position onto the mat, or roll yourself back and forward until you're coming up into a cross-legged position onto the mat. Place your hands in front of your chest and just bow, thanking yourself for giving yourself time to practice today. And thank you very much.